Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Inside the Distance podcast. I'm your host, GK, the fight analyst, and this is here, my man, Aaron the dog. What's up? How's it going?
This is here, Aaron the dog.
My bad. Just mixed up there a little bit.
Good morning, everybody.
Give me my coffee.
Yeah, we've got a, we're doing a little, mix up this week. Thanksgiving was on Thursday. So this card, not exactly the most grateful, most easy card to be grateful for, you could say, but we're here. We wait to go till the last second sometimes, and this really, paid off again.
Big time.
We don't have to cover a main event that everybody else was covering. There wasn't going to be exactly a long breakdown on that fight for me, but it was Curtis Blades and all my parlays. Curtis Blades getting, I think it's, does he finish or not? That's always the discussion with 5-round Curtis Blades fights at this point until he faces that French guy again. So I personally thought he was just going to ride it out for 5 rounds and just get a decision. So I don't know if we really lost a incredible fight. They're going to book that again because they just seem bound and determined to. And I get the argument for Derek Lewis from people. I definitely do. And definitely I'm sure it would be fun to bet him, and just for 5 rounds, at any point you could.
Just one.
One. Like in the end of the 5th round. And with how, Blades got rocked against Volkov in that fit. I mean, there's arguments abound for a plus 300 Derek Lewis actually too. So maybe it is more of an interesting fight and worth making. But now we have a 5-round main event of Anthony Lionheart Smith and Dwight Clark.
No, Devin Clark.
Devin. No, I know. That's my point. Is that when I first saw it, I was like, Dwight Clark? Dwight Clark's a football player. Devin Clark. And this is the battle of the worst chest tattoo in MMA. Winner of this gets worst chest tattoo, I guess. But yeah, we still got good fights to analyze here, and I think there are some interesting matchups on this card. So I'm looking for. It's just interesting. I need betting. I need betting encouragement to bet this card.
Well, that's what I'm here for. Because
I currently have one bet now.
Yeah, I got a couple here, man. I think there's still some money to be made on this week's card.
Let's talk about it.
But wait, before we get to it, let's recap UFC 255. We haven't recapped 255 yet. Amazing performance by Deiveson Figueiredo. 1st round guillotine. I was on Perez on that fight. And that's exactly how I said he should lose. If he did lose, it's either guillotine or right hand from hell. And he got the guillotine. I think he was putting up a good fight until then, but it is what it is. Valentina Shevchenko had arguably one of the harder fights that she's had at 125. There were spots where she looked vulnerable for a little bit. Okay,
for a whole round, and I live. I live bet her at minus 350, so I'm super proud to say I got a minus 350 bet on Valentina Shevchenko against Jennifer Maia.
But she did look her worst in that fight.
That's fine, but she still wasn't a minus 350 after one round.
No, of course not. No, I'm just saying that was one of the harder fights that she's had as champion.
No, I agree, and I'm not arguing with that. But as with regards to a betting perspective here, listen to the commentary sometimes, and if you're really using your own brain and realizing what the commentary is doing, which is trying to gas up and create more of a situation.
They did the whole fight.
And that shifted the line minus 15 or plus 1,500 for Shevchenko in one round when it was 1-1. If you told me before the fight, 1-1 going into the 3rd for Jennifer Maia and Valentina Shevchenko, you can get Shevchenko at minus 350. What do you do?
You take it.
Exactly.
Instantly.
And that's why I did. You get these live bet situations are key situations to make some.
Yes, there's a good one tonight too.
You're not going to see Shevchenko at minus 350. Where are you going to see her at minus 350?
And there's a really good live betting situation tonight as well.
Yes, sir.
You're going to get even better odds. He's already an underdog. You'll get even better odds come round 2. So we'll get into that right about now. So let's start on the prelims at a catch weight of 140 pounds between Nate Maness and Luke Sanders. Right now, let's see.
Yeah, we are getting the freshest of odds here tonight. That's for sure. So
yeah, I know. So we got
this morning, I should say.
You got what's it called? Maness at plus 135 and Sanders as a minus 145 favorite. So that's pretty good. Who do you got in this one?
Whew. This is an interesting fight, and I really do mean interesting. Sometimes I say that before I'm about to shit on a fight. But I honestly initially kind of had my read towards Luke Sanders. However, I realized I kind of overrated his wrestling, and he doesn't really use wrestling. Like, for some reason, I think I just looked at Luke Sanders and I was like, this guy is a wrestler. Look at his body. Look at his frame. Like, he's got to be a wrestler. No, he's kind of just like he likes to throw, he's kind of just a kickboxer. And I don't think he's had like the most success in his UFC career here. Nate Maness has fought as high as 155. So frame wise, he's certainly going to be the bigger guy. Obviously, we saw him in his UFC debut against Johnny Munoz. He looked okay. He didn't look great. But I mean, he got the win. I think, was he supposed to face Borg in that fight initially?
I think so, yeah.
So he was preparing for a wrestler or grappler, and he did have some kind of issues in it, but that's just, I don't know. I kind of like this spot for the underdog. I think that there's a good chance Sanders can get in there and kind of rock him, certainly, and knock him out if he gets on the inside. But I think Maness can kind of use his counter shot. He has some decent counter shots, decent counter hooks. His wrestling is good enough. And I think Maness has faced some okay to decent competition, especially guys like Arnett. And yeah, I'm gonna go with the dog in this first one. Not enough to bet it, like a lot of the fights here. What's up, Craig? Good to see you. But regardless, I'm gonna take the dog Maness. I'll take him by decision. It's close.
Yeah, that's way too much of a breakdown for me. I really didn't look too far into this fight. I definitely don't want any part of my money on either one of these two fighters, in Luke Sanders and Nate Maness.
Sorry for breaking it down too much.
No, that's good. I'm just saying that's way more than I got on this one. But what I do like is the under 2.5 rounds at plus money. I think whoever is winning this fight is getting a finish.
Okay.
That's the play that I have on here. Remember, guys, it's either first round or decision, the very first fight in the card. So you're either going to see someone get laid out here in the first round, which I'm predicting Sanders laying the wood here and putting Maness out in the first round. But that's just my prediction. But I do like the under 2.5 rounds. I think it's like plus 152, and the line's steadily increasing because people are hitting it, and rightfully so. I think either one of these two can definitely get a finish here, and I think it's gonna be fireworks right from the get-go. So that's why I think it's just gonna be balls to the wall, and I like the under.
I mean, Maness has really good finishing ability prior to UFC. I think he had like 5 or 6 first-round finishes. Finished Arnett in the second round of that fight. That is just like one of those wins that really tells me a lot about a guy coming. I mean, that is a win to like earn your way into the UFC. And obviously, I know he lost his next fight to Taylor Laprise, but I mean, I think Maness could slowly form himself into somewhat of a factor, I think, in this division. So maybe I'm overrating him, but I think this is a good spot for the dog, actually. I don't think Sanders should be a favorite. I think he's, what is he, like 2-4 in his UFC career? 2-3?
About that, yeah. I mean, but he just won his last fight by knockout. That's kind of the reason why he's a favorite.
Yeah, he knocked out Barao, which everybody knocks out Barao.
Pretty much.
So that's the Barao win. I mean, he got knocked out by Andrei Sukumtov. So like this is I think finishing inside the distance, actually.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, like I said, I think we're getting great value there. Plus 152, under 2.5 rounds. I think that's the smart play because I really can't trust either one of these two fighters with my hard-earned money. They just haven't really proven to me that I should be laying any type of chunk of change on them. So going with under 2.5 rounds, plus 152. All right, next up in the flyweight division, we have a fight between Sue Mudarji and Malcolm Gordon. Right now, Mudarji is a minus 305 favorite, and the comeback on Gordon's a plus 275 underdog. Who do you
got? Initially, I looked into this one. I was like, oh, this is a big dog. Maybe I can get him and Malcolm Gordon. No, thank you. After further review, Malcolm Gordon does have a path to victory. Let's get him down, and he can advance and submit him. He's been Sumanjari. He's been submitted 4 times. Also, Sumanjari is only like 24, 25, so you've got to assume that aspect of his game has been rapidly improving. I know that's an assumption, but I mean, Gordon made Amir Abdulzali look like a world beater in there. I get that was at 135. So he, and he's a 125er. I listened to a interview with Malcolm Gordon where he talked about how, and this was a few months ago, he talked about how the next time he got into the octagon after his debut, he wanted it to be in front of a crowd because that did affect him. He said he just like couldn't get going. It got in his head. Like, he thrives off that energy of the crowd, he said, and he was like saying he wasn't looking to get back into the octagon until crowds were back. So this was a few months ago, and but either way, I just think this guy is like slipped up against worse guys and spots in his career, and like he's going to be the much smaller guy.
No, he's not. No, he's not. You want to see? Let's see the size difference.
Yeah.
Look at. Let's see the size difference. Where is he much smaller?
He's shorter, and his frame.
He's no. His frame is not smaller.
He's longer.
Okay. Mudarji is taller by 1 inch. Number one,
like more than an inch.
And it's only 1 inch. They have shoes on. Number 2, he's definitely the much smaller guy in terms of mass and strength. You can tell. Look at the thickness of this guy, and look at the non-thickness of this guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not impressed with what I've seen from Malcolm Gordon. I just got to get this down and got to get a submission. I'm not betting Sumanjari, but I'll take him here.
Yeah. As you can see, why I'm, complaining about over here. I am on Malcolm Gordon. I think we're getting a great line, plus 275. He's actually fought competition. And unlike Mudarji, he's only fought Louis Smolka, who's his best competition in his entire career, period. He's lost to bad competition on the regional scene. He's fought absolutely and beaten absolutely nobody in his entire career. And that includes Andre Sukumtat, who I do not rate highly whatsoever. He has a fight IQ of nothing because, as we've seen Sean O'Malley versus Andre Sukumtat, I don't put too much stock into that fight. And then, yes, I know Gordon made Amir Albazi look great, but, Albazi would beat Sumanjari as well. Just think about it that way. Albazi would beat Sumanjari. I know Mudarji has knockout power, but he's knocked out literally absolutely nobody. Just a bunch of random regional scene Asian fighters on a terrible circuit, and that's pretty much it. But then you also look at who he's lost. He's lost his last 2 flyweight fights by submission. So he hasn't fought a flyweight in over 2 years. He hasn't fought in 15 months as well. I know he's young. Obviously, that's not really going to take a toll on him. But, as a young fighter, you need to be active in order to get better. Just training is not going to get you better. You need to get more, competition against high-level opponents. He's been fighting nobody. He's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. He lost to someone on the regional scene at flyweight, and he was choked out. I mean, the path to victory is there. Mm-hmm. Gordon has good wrestling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's definitely levels in that regards as to Mudarji. And, I mean, he doesn't have a glass chin like people think he has. He hasn't been knocked out in 3-4 years, and he's had 5-6 fights since then. So, I mean, the whole Mudarji's going to come in there and absolutely starch him. I don't see. I mean, could it happen? Yeah. But like that's your path to victory. Mudarji either gets the knockout or Gordon's getting the sub. The under 2.5 rounds got hit crazy. I've seen some people talk about it on Twitter. It went from plus 120 all the way to like almost minus 200. So there's something there that leads to believe that either one of these guys are getting a finish. And I do think so as well. So yeah, I mean, if you want to bet Sumadarji, might as well take it by KO. If you want to bet Gordon, I love him by submission at over plus 500.
Yeah, that's a good submission prop for sure.
You're talking about Mudarji's been all 4 of his losses have been by submission,
including his fight before his UFC debut.
Exactly. He came in on a submission loss. Then he got submitted by Smolka as well. 2 back-to-back submission losses. Lost his last 2 fights in his last 2 flyweight fights by submission. I mean, that's the path to victory if Gordon wants to win. I don't see him winning a stand-up battle. I don't see him being able to outpoint him on the feet. So he's either going to have to keep him on the mat, keep him there, submit him, or, it's got to be grappling. But so, yeah. I think Sumadarji, I think by take KO is plus 170. I think that's still great value. And Gordon by submission over plus 500, also great value. I would take a dabble in a little bit of both. I think you'd win either way. I don't see this fight going to a decision. And given that it's under 2.5 rounds is now such a massive favorite of a line, I think taking both these guys at as a finish prop will probably give you more value.
So are we disagreeing on the first 2 fights so far?
I think so.
That's lovely.
Well, I'm not really disagreeing in the first fight because I really don't care, but I'm definitely on Gordon in the second fight.
Yeah, I think you're on Luke Sanders for the first fight.
Right? Okay, you can call it as it is. I just predicted him to win. Will he win? I don't know. All right.
Can we get over this next fight, please?
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have a fight in the flyweight division between Gina Mazzani and Rachel Ostovich. Right now, Mazzani is a minus 190 favorite, and the comeback on Ostovich is a plus 175 underdog.
Dude, yeah. The God treatment that Gina Mazzani has gotten this week is really, really bothering me. I get it. Everybody's just like, oh, I got Mazzani. Like, I got
Mazzani.
Yeah, so is everybody. I get it because she's not fighting a fighter.
Yes,
she's
exactly
fighting a fighter.
But that's the thing. We don't care who she's fighting as long as we get the win. That's how we're thinking. We just need the mismatches. So let's talk about the mismatch. This is a mismatch.
This is a complete mismatch. We found the one fighter in the UFC who you can put against Gina Mazzani and make it a mismatch.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's another fighter in the UFC you can put against Gina Mazzani where she's a minus 190 favorite.
No, definitely not. Especially on 125 pounds. I think there's still a lot of good talent there.
I mean, and yeah, she's, this is Mazzani. This is Mazzani inside the distance.
Yeah. I'm with you as well. I think Mazzani is a very good, and we're still getting good number on her, minus 190.
What's inside the distance?
That's a good question. Let me see.
Or just KO because she's not going to do anything else.
She can't get a submission?
Has she ever had a submission?
I feel like she's had.
I'll take a look as you're looking that up.
They're both plus 500, so they don't think she's gonna get a finish.
Wow. Yeah. As far as I can tell, she's never had a submission. She has a couple punch finishes.
Mazzani inside the distance is plus 280.
Yeah, I think that's what I would go with. I just don't think Ostovich can survive 3 rounds against
an actual fighter.
Yeah, I don't. She hasn't shown it. I mean, she got a decision against Barb Honchak in 2017. Other than that, she got finished by Montana Del Rosa, finished by Paige Van Zandt, finished by Christine Ferreira, finished by Andrea Lee, finished by Jenny Liu. So she's never been decisioned.
Plus 280 sounds delightful.
That sounds like one of the better bets on this card. That is frightening. That Gina Mazzani inside the distance might be one of my only plays on this card.
That's a really good play.
I'm sick to my stomach. but it still cashes. So let's
That's
go.
all that matters.
At one point, this fight was on the main card. At least it was just being shown on the main card. So I'm glad, for whatever reason, they think there's 2 fights that should be before this fight. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how this isn't the curtain jerker.
Yeah, all right. So next up in the bantamweight division, we have a fight between Martin Day and Anderson Dos Santos. Right now, Martin Day is a minus 155 favorites, and the comeback on Dos Santos is a plus 145 underdog. Who do you got?
Well, I like this fight about as much as the last fight.
Oh, I think this is a great fight, bro.
I'm not a Martin Day fan. Maybe I'm just like a little bitter from last time, but it should be a fun fight. I am not a Martin Day fan. I don't think he belongs in the UFC. I don't think he should be here.
I think he belongs much more than Anderson Dos Santos, though.
Correct. Yes, correct. But I mean, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Also,
well, it does here if you win.
Yeah. So Martin Day, I think, like, I was so on him in his last fight against Davey Grant. I was very confident in that.
I know where you're going with this. Like, oh my God, he's scoring me once. I can't do it again. Well, you can't be like that. You can't be selective.
He scored me twice because he also blew it against Penguin Lou.
No, but he won that fight though.
But he blew it because he fights like Andrei Sukumtov, and that's what bothers me. Is like he's just like he can win a fight.
I think you're being racist just because they're both of Asian
descent.
He can
win a fight and still lose it. Don't accuse me of being racist. He win a fight and still lose it. He has a lack of fighter IQ, which is actually not being racist against that. Fucking take that shit to the bank. But Anderson Dos Santos just gets lit up, and he's going to get lit up here by Martin Day. And I think, again, this is a situation. I think we're going to have a lot of finishes on this card because I think this is a mismatch, which is shocking. But they're finding ways to get these fighters who almost have no mismatches.
I know. Except for right here.
We're like, yo, who can we put Martin Day against that you can get a win? Rachel Ostovich. No, we gotta pick someone else. Okay, Anderson Dos Santos. Perfect.
There we go. A guy that literally eats punches for breakfast.
Yeah, I am considering a Martin Day Gina Mazzani double parlay.
And that's not even bad. You can get great odds, like almost 3-1 on that.
But just telling me that, it hurts.
I know.
Like, and being able to tell other people, hey, make this play here. Gina Mazzani and Martin Day. Inside the distance, both of them parlay. That's What is that? Just pull that up.
Let me see that, because that's got to be like plus 600, 700.
Dude, that might be a quick little plus 700 double parlay that should come in. Rachel Ostovich is getting finished, everybody. Gina Mazzani inside the distance or KO is the play.
Let's see. Plus, hold on.
So we got Martin Day inside.
Wow, bro. Just those two alone is plus 1,876.
Let's go. There's your greasy parlay, everybody.
It's only 2.
Mazzani inside the distance, Martin Day inside the distance. Go to your book right now. Put $10 down on it. Win 180.
Wow.
Or have some balls and put 100 down on it like me. But either way, let's go.
Yeah.
I am stamping that.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. But like, how does Dos Santos get finished? I know he's extremely durable. That's my only concern.
So he took everything against Andre Ewell. I mean, for sure. He took everything against Nad Namrani. He took many shots and kept going. He's been KO'd by. Oh,
he's been finished. He's been finished in almost every single one of his losses, except for his last 2 losses.
Yeah. The last 2 where he's taken a ton of punishment that I think he can carry into this fight still. He hasn't fought in over a year also. He was supposed to be fighting Jack Shore. Martin Day is a completely different matchup. Obviously, Jack Shore was going to finish him. But Martin Day, you're prepping for some. Yeah, I like Martin Day inside the distance. Sounds like you agree.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on Day here. I mean, the stats just are outlandish between the two as well. He's landing almost 3 more strikes per minute. He's landing at a 20% more clip than Dos Santos. He outstrikes his opponents by 3%. Dos Santos is getting outstruck by 14%.
Yep.
It keeps racking. I mean, he's not a good striker. What he's got going for him is he's durable. He comes forward and he likes to put on exciting fights. But as long as Martin Day doesn't get clipped here, he legit can just outstrike this man for the entirety of this fight. I just hope he doesn't get stuck on the ground for any long periods of time. Mm-hmm. He didn't against Grant. He was able to get back up, so that's really good. It's really good from what I've seen because Grant is far, far better than Dos Santos when it comes to control and keeping people on the mat. So I think Martin Day's got this all day.
Yep. I agree. He's going to get his first win in the octagon in 3 attempts. He's been 0-3 between the Contender Series and the UFC, so he's definitely going to be motivated. I mean, everybody's motivated coming in. But I do think that serves as I really think that serves as an extra motivation factor. I don't think he wants to go 0-4 on the biggest stage.
But also, think about it. Who has a higher ceiling, Dos Santos or Martin Day?
I mean, they both have a floor for a ceiling, but Martin Day.
Yeah, but also, who do you think the UFC wants to push, Martin Day or Anderson?
It's very clear, Martin Day.
Yeah, so this is the kind of fight they're trying to put on. They're putting on a showcase fight for Martin Day to look good against a guy that comes forward, he eats punches.
Well, didn't they just do that with Martin Day against Davey Grant?
Yes, and he shit the bed.
Right, so he could do it again. I'm just saying, but this is like. Again, we're betting on Gina Mazzani and Martin Day. You know what you're getting into already.
Yeah.
So, that's why it's just I want to win my bets when I make them. I really don't want to lose them ever. But I really don't want to lose them when it's Gina Mazzani and
Martin fucking Day.
It's just hard to forgive myself if I lose that. But
then you're like, well, yep, sounds about right because it was Martin Day and Gina Mazzani.
You bet on Martin Day. What were you – it's one of those – the next day hindsights that everybody would be like, what are you doing?
I know.
It's all right, you know what? But it's business. Are we to the main card now?
I think so. No, we're still in the prelims.
It says main card on Tapology here for the next one.
Oh, okay. Finally on the main card. We're at the main card, the 6-fight main card. All right, so the first fight on the main card, we have a fight at 145 pounds between Kai Kamaka III and Jonathan Pierce. Right now, Kamaka is a -275 favorite, and the comeback on Pierce is a +250 underdog. Who do you got?
I mean, I got Kai Kamaka here. I'm not crazy. I really don't like the price.
Neither do I. And it was crazier just a few days ago, too.
Yeah, and that he's taking it on short notice again, and that he's a 135er who's at 145 and still doesn't have a lot of pop. But I mean, this is a fight against Pierce here. I saw Pierce live against Joe Lozon.
That was bad. Whew, that was bad.
And Joe Lozon was I think a +200 underdog too. And Pierce looked absolutely terrible. And that was last October 18th, so it's been over a year.
But that was at 155, right?
Yes, it was. And he was preparing for a fight against a long, lengthy striker in Sean Woodson. Now he's getting a grinding kind of, he throws bombs, but he does like to kind of just wrestle. We saw it against Tony Kelly. I think this looks similar to that, in all honesty. I just think in order for Pierce to win, he has to be the stronger wrestler of the two. And if he is, then there's a chance he can eke one out for sure.
All right, I'm a big Kai Kamaka fan, but I don't like betting him here at this line on such short notice against a guy that has a full fight camp.
Yes.
He fights at 155. He is much bigger than Kamaka as well.
I think he could be a lot stronger too.
I know, and that's why this is my Daniel Rodriguez, Nicholas Dalby type situation. Like I said last week, I told people not to take D-Rod. Told them straight up, do not take him at this line. It's gonna be a completely different fight. And now, Kamaka's coming in. He's going against somebody who's has more fights than Tony Kelly. He's fought higher level competition than Tony Kelly. So he's got a guy that's on an actual fight camp, and he's not going against a guy that gassed in Tony Kelly. Kamaka shows that he gasses as the fight goes on. Short notice, 145. This is absolutely not the right price to take Kamaka on short notice at minus 275. He was such a massive favorite even before that. He was like minus 400, I think, where it opened.
Yeah, Jonathan Pierce is 6 foot, Kai Kamaka 5'7".
Yeah, there's a massive size discrepancy here. And I just don't want any part of a very hairy split decision close fight.
Yeah, Pierce is on MMA Lab. I mean, like he's got bodies like Kai Kamaka to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's not a scrub. I know he didn't look good against Joe Lozon, who hasn't looked good in a decade. But
that was in Boston. Half the crowd had Lozon shirts on. It was early in the prelims. It was almost the loud. I was at that fight, by the way. That fight card. It was the loudest the arena was the whole night was for Joe Lozon. Like it was a like crazy environment for Pierce to be in for that fight, honestly. Like the entire crowd, like Lozon came out, he never looked better than he did. Like, and that was the last great performance of Lozon also.
Exactly. So I think people are putting way too much into that and embedding it in this line. This is going to be a really tough fight for Kai Kamaka. Minus 275 is definitely not the right line here. I think it should be closer to a pick'em. And I hate going against Kamaka because I think he's one of my favorite fighters. I've been on him since before coming into the UFC. I knew he was going to be a UFC fighter. I was big on him against Tony Kelly, but I kind of want to take Pierce here as a big underdog. I just think he has what it takes to keep the fight on the feet and just make Kamaka work, because Kamaka's going to be tired after like a round and a half, and Pierce can easily just pull away towards the end of the fight. It's going to be a close decision. Yeah. You can maybe even take Pierce after round 1 live and get a crazy line, because I know Kamaka's going to eventually fade. He did against Tony Kelly. And I think the same thing goes here. And he's fighting a much bigger fighter than Tony Kelly as well. Mind you, guys, Tony Kelly went from 145 to 135.
Bigger and more experienced than Tony Kelly.
Exactly. So now you're getting a guy that's actually bigger. He usually fights at 155. Tony Kelly went down to 135. So the big difference here. I think Pierce is going to be much bigger, much stronger. He's going to be able to defend takedowns much better than Kelly, because Kelly does not defend takedowns at all, as we've seen in his 2 UFC fights. I'm picking Pierce here. Big underdog, plus 250, I believe. Plus 250. I think we're getting a good line here still. And I'm on 2 big underdogs. I'm hoping one of them pull through.
I love it. Yeah, I think that for these guys are they the 2 biggest underdogs?
They are the 2 biggest underdogs.
I think that's really interesting that they're the 2 biggest underdogs when both have a very clear method and path to
No, absolutely. Both of them. I mean, Gordon can get a sub. His opponent's been subbed numerous times. Yep. And then, he can easily grind out a decision against Kamaka just by staying on the feet. He's a much smaller opponent. Can
I ask what Gordon inside the distance and Pierce by decision gets me?
Let's see. So we got Pierce.
Do I have a couple of double greasy parlays to be pouring out here?
Pierce by decisions plus 465.
Which, I'll take it.
And Gordon inside the distance plus 465.
That almost seems like fate.
Plus 3,092.
That one I understand putting maybe 5 on.
Yeah.
10. But dude, it can happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Those both could happen.
Absolutely. And they're only 2. They're only 2.
2 doubles, 1 for 3K, 1 for 18. Like, we're gambling. We're gambling tonight, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the gambling type of night.
Gambling.
Rolling the dice.
Yes, sir. Let's get this fight over with.
Yeah, I don't want much to do with this one. All right, next up in the women's bantamweight division, we have a fight between Ashley Evans-Smith and Norma Dumont. Dumont came in what was it, 4 or 5 pounds over the weight limit, I think.
Yep. And then got starched.
Yeah. So she is right now. Evan Smith is a minus 145 favorite, and come back at Dumont. It's a plus 135 underdog. Who do you got?
I don't know. I'm supposed to pick actually Evan Smith here. I think just because Norma Dumont doesn't have anybody that she had shown anything against that I could find. She's 4-1 and she's 30, and Ashley Evan Smith hasn't fought in year and a half and hosts a weird sex MMA podcast. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is just not a good fight.
Nope. I want nothing to do with this. Do we need to keep going on? Because I really don't want to break down either side. I don't want nothing to do.
I don't really care to break this down either. I'm going to take Norma, but
okay.
I have no reason.
Okay.
Taking Norma, and she wouldn't even be in my long shot parlay.
Nope.
I would do it. I'm going to do a 9-card parlay instead of a 10.
Everything about that.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, I absolutely want nothing to do with this fight. I do have the over 2.5 rounds parlayed, but that's it. No, don't bet on either one of these two. I don't care if you have a strong read. Just it's not worth it. It's extremely low level.
If you have a strong read, I want to know how you got that read.
Yeah, actually, come on. If you do have a strong read, come on the show. We'll talk about it.
You get to host a podcast because you know more than me. Let's move on to a good fight.
All right. Next up, at 145 pounds, we have a fight between Bill Algeo and Spike Carlisle. Right now, Spike Carlisle is a minus 177 favorite, and the comeback on Algeo is a plus 166 underdog. Who do you got?
I'm really surprised. I like the dog Algeo a lot. I loved what I saw out of his fight with Ricardo Lamas. I see those knees landing on Carlisle as he just bum rushes in like he always does. There's definitely a chance, I think, at the live bet here, but I think Algeo may kind of go wire to wire. Honestly, I think he may even be able to win the first round. I don't know.
I don't think so, man.
I know with Billy Q how Spike came out. That's pretty hard to see Spike not winning if he comes out that way. But at some point, I feel Spike is going to realize he has to adjust his style to really win in the UFC, and that may make him fight worse. So I'm just either he wins the first round and loses the rest of the rounds, or I think Algeo could go wire to wire. I like Algeo here a lot, though. I like the matchup frame-wise. I like the weigh-ins. You look at them at the weigh-ins. I think Carlisle is first round or bust.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly what it is. Spike Carlisle's first round bust. That's the type of fighter he is. He's shown against Billy Q. It's going to be very, very similar type of fight. It's basically the same type of body structure as both of them, as well as the Billy Q fight as well. Big, taller, leaner guy, good jiu-jitsu to not get subbed, and really good on the feet. Yes, he's susceptible to takedowns, as we saw in his fight against Ricardo Lamas. But that was on short notice. I'm thinking he's going to be better out here. And as we've seen against Spike, he fades after the first round, going balls to the wall. And this is my live betting opportunity. After round one, I'm almost certain he's going to be losing. Yeah. So that plus 170, 166 line should jump up to plus 225, 250, maybe even plus 300 if he might have been close to a finish. And then Algeo is going to take over rounds 2 and 3. Spike's takedowns are going to be telegraphed a lot easier. And I think he's just going to get picked apart at range. And maybe Spike would get finished by Algeo via rear naked choke if he goes in. And then Algeo just takes his back, which is I could see possibly happening if he gasses out where I think he will.
Yeah, so, just look at Algeo's record of competition he's faced throughout his career. I know he's lost to a lot of those very good guys, but he's also beat some of those guys as well. But it's he's faced guys like Jared Garden. He's faced guys like Shane Burgos. He's faced guys like Brandon Longahan. And I just not sure the level of competition Spike has faced. He had that knockout against Alan Cruz, who knows how good Alan Cruz is. Not very good, is my opinion. And, so it's like, I just think that you can't fight the way Spike Carlisle fights and win a lot of fights in the UFC. And Algio is the better fighter, more well-rounded, and smarter as well. So I got Algio here.
Yeah, that's another dog. And I think we're getting a good line here, even at plus 166. Even if your book doesn't allow live betting on MMA, which, some of them don't, still Algio at plus 166 is a good line. I think he's got the tools. Keep it on the feet. Do what he wants to do. Maybe finish him on the mat as well.
Yep.
All right. So next up, we have a fight at heavyweight between Josh Parisian and Parker Porter. Right now, Parisian's on minus 200 favor in the comeback on Parker Porter. It's a plus 185 underdog. Yeah.
I got Parisian all day here. He is going to be the bigger, faster, stronger, better, smarter, more in shape, like all the above. Like, this is a complete mismatch. We saw who Parker Porter is, and he looks in much better shape for this fight, so I will give him that, but he couldn't have looked in worse shape from his last fight also. He's extremely hittable. Parisian's going to be able to stick and move with him and I think put him away. I would expect first or second round, but I do certainly expect a fair shot Parisian. He and Blades was my most confident of the night. I was going to double them up. Then that disappeared. So now I have a large single bet on Josh Parisian. So,
oh God. But I'm right in there with you. I mean, Parisian is far better.
Match.
He's far better everywhere. Striking, grappling, clinch work, everywhere. He's bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. 4 inches taller, 4-inch reach advantage. He's got the advantage everywhere. Where I'm seeing, I haven't seen much from Porter. Obviously, it was only a first round against Christakis, but he got finished and he did not look good at all. He didn't look comfortable striking. He threw some okay leg kicks, but he just got picked apart. And I see the same thing happening here. I think Parisian comes in with some heavy leg kicks, and I think it hurts Parker Porter right off the bat because he leads heavy on the front leg of his. Yeah. And I think he's just going to put the 1-2 on his chin, and just that's pretty much all she wrote. He's going to be heavy, leg kick to 1-2. He's going to put him out. That's exactly how I see it's happening early in the first round. Leg kick to that 1-2, and that's all she wrote.
Agreed. Yep.
All right. There's really not much there. I think this is a complete and utter mismatch. I know people, don't like to write home about Parisian, but Parisian's he's a lot better than people give him credit for. I know he hasn't fought the best of competition, but he's been in there with some good guys. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. He beat I think Chad Johnson in his last fight in the Ultimate Fighter, who I think would probably knock out Parker Porter. He's got heavy, Johnson has heavy hands. He took his punches. Yes, he got wobbled a little bit, but he got up and he got the finish. Very, very impressive. I don't think Parker Porter's got the power to really put out Parisian, but who knows? I didn't think Chaos Williams had the power to take out El Hassan either. So, but, it's MMA. I just think this is a complete and utter mismatch. As long as Parisian just doesn't get caught, he has this 9 out of 10 any day of the week.
Agreed.
All right, next up in our co-main event of the evening, we have a fight between Miguel Baeza and Takashi Sato. Right now, damn it, I'm trying to go back. Right now, Sato is a plus 170 underdog, and the comeback on Baeza is a minus 185 favorite. What do you got?
I think this is a really good, entertaining fight. It's a good matchup for both guys. Sato was supposed to be fighting Rodriguez a few months ago, and then he was deemed unfit to compete. So that's a big red flag for me right off the bat. I don't
hard
know.
Weight cut, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's this is a couple months later. So he's probably recovered, but again, how hard is it for him to get down to this weight as he's advancing in his career, it appears. Baeza gets rocked in a lot of his fights, like rocked hard. And then his response getting rocked is to knock you the fuck out. And he's done that like 3 times now, where he's gotten rocked in fights and then immediately it's like woke him up and he's come back and rocked him out. So the real question for me in this fight is, if he takes that left from Sato, does he take it? Because I'm not sure he can. I think if Sato lands these punches that some of these other guys have landed on him, I think he puts them away. I'm just not sure Sato gets that punch. It is a puncher's chance here, but it's a really good puncher's chance. I'm going to go Baeza. I'm going to go Baeza. I just think he has a little bit more diverse striking. He has the leg kicks. He does have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so I do think that could play a factor in this fight as well with the grappling. I think Baeza just edges him a little bit in every category. Sato has that left straight that definitely can land right on that chin and put him away, though. So this is like a really I'll be very impressed if Baeza passes this test, because this is a really good test for him. But he should, because it's just avoiding a striker here. There's nothing else. And so really, if Baeza is as good as he's being portrayed, I think he wins this fight.
Agreed. I'm on Baeza as well. I think he's got all the tools. He's got power. He's knocked down each and every one of his last 3 opponents multiple times. The leg kicks are going to play major dividends in this fight because of the karate stance of Sato. He leads heavy on that lead leg. He's going to plant a lot to throw that left hand. The only thing he has to watch out for when he throws a leg kick, don't throw a naked leg kick like Al Hassan and get fucking blasted like Chaos Williams did. As long as he avoids that straight left off the leg kick, I think he should be all right. He's more diverse in his striking. He's got more power. He throws more volume. He's more accurate. He's a younger fighter, fresher fighter. Yeah, I'm going with Baeza here. But yeah, like you said, Sato definitely has a chance of just putting his lights away with that straight left, but he just needs to avoid it when he's throwing that leg kick, because that's exactly where I see him losing.
Yep.
Like, it's picture perfect. It's off that leg kick, straight down the pipe, puts him down, and then finishes him from there. But I just think the more tools, the more well-rounded fighter is Baeza, and I'm taking my 25.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So we're up to the main event of the evening. In a fight at 205 pounds between Anthony Lionheart Smith and Devin Clark. Right now, Smith is a minus 135 favorite, and the comeback on Clark's a plus 125 underdog. What do you got?
I have Anthony Smith in this fight. I really like this matchup for him, actually, and I think this is a matchup that is his easiest in several years, and it is not exactly a dangerous matchup. So my questions about his ability to take damage, not going to have to be answered as much in this fight. It comes down to, can he wrestle with Clark? And this is now 5 rounds. I think that plays in favor of Anthony Smith greatly. Anthony Smith has 5-round experience. I don't believe Clark does.
Nope, not at all.
And I don't believe Clark looks stronger as fights go on. I believe he starts to wilt as fights go on, and he can hang on and win fights. But if there are 2 more rounds, I don't think he wins some of the fights he's won. I think, what's the price on Smith at this point?
Minus 135, which I think is still a steal.
Yeah, it's still a steal. I like that price a lot. And I think that Anthony Smith, if he isn't taken down, this then turns into a stand-up battle. And I mean, it's over from there. Smith is massive too compared to Clark. I mean, look at that. Like, he's much taller. We got to be a 6-inch reach advantage, I bet, for him or more. Yeah.
Good question. That's a good question. What is the reach advantage? Let me look at that up.
Sure looks like 6 inches, but
it's at least 4. I know that much.
Yeah. So I think
no, it's actually only 1 inch. Oh shit!
Interesting. So
he's just 4 inches taller.
Oh, it's 4 inches tall. Okay. But yeah, either way, I do think that I do like Anthony Smith in this fight.
Yeah, I agree as well. I was leaning towards Smith, Devin Clark. I'm sorry, in the first portion when he was a 3-rounder because he can grind out for almost 2 rounds and then give up the 3rd round and win a close split decision. Now in a 5-round fight, I think he could get finished at the end of the 2nd or in the 3rd at some point. Because now, he goes balls to the wall with his wrestling. He's not going to be able. He doesn't have a gas tank to go 5 rounds. He's not conditioned to go 5 rounds, especially if he's never had to fight 5 rounds ever in his entire life. He didn't go into a full fight camp to go 5 rounds. And Anthony Smith has gone 5 rounds in multiple times in his last couple fights. So, and then you just look at the level of competition. He just fought Rakic, Teixeira, Gustafsson, John Jones, and Ozdemir in his last 5 fights. Now you got Devin Clark, who's fought Menefield, Townsend, Ryan Spann, Stosic, and Rakic. Look at the level of competition.
He did not beat Rakic.
And yeah, he lost to Rakic, he lost to Ryan Spann, and his only wins are Townsend, Menefield, and Stosic.
And the Stosic fight was really close.
And 2 of those 3 guys don't even work for the UFC anymore.
I don't think 2 of those guys even ever won a fight in the UFC.
Stosic has won once against another guy who's not in the UFC anymore.
Ryan James or something?
No, Kimball. Jeremy Kimball. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Townsend never won a fight in the UFC.
I know Townsend never won a fight in the UFC. Townsend made me a little bit of money because he was always a giant dog, but still made cash.
So you look at the level of competition. I know Clark is a very good wrestler. I think he's a lot better. I mean, he only loses to like good competition for the most part. Like Rakic and Ryan Spann. But Smith is good competition, and I think same thing goes here. I think Smith is much better on the ground. He's more crafty than most of these guys. He's fought on the ground, so Smith can get a sweep. He could get back to his feet. He could take his back. I just think Clark is getting finished at some point in this fight, whether it be rounds 3, 4, or 5. It's going to be later, but he's going to get finished in this fight. He doesn't have the gas to go 5 rounds. So eventually, one of those takedown attempts is going to be telegraphed, and Smith's going to be able to capitalize, take his back, and sink in the rear naked choke and put him away.
Yep. I agree. I think this is a pretty solid minus 135 favorite, to be honest.
Yeah, and like I said, now that it's a 5-rounder, it massively shifts and changes towards Smith's way.
Yet the line hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the line is built in for how Smith lost his last 2 fights. He got controlled by a striker in Rakic for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's where my go-to was when I was taking Clark. But now that's not a 3-rounder. He's get 2 more rounds to now finish a depleted gas tank of Devin Clark. So I'm taking the chance here.
Well, I mean, we got through this card.
Yeah, we did.
I got the couple doubles for the greasy dog parlays. I do think one of those large dogs is coming in, and my most confident bets of the night are Gina Mazzani, Martin Day, Josh Parisian.
Oh Lord, what a night of fights!
And Anthony fucking Smith. Whew. That is rough. That is rough.
What a night of fights.
Yeah, those are my most confident of the night. Gina Mazzani, Martin Day, Josh Parisian, and Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Oh boy. That
is 2020.
Oh yeah. 2020 in a nutshell. Well, that's where we got for
have a
you.
4-fight parlay with those 4 in it.
Oh God.
That's I might go over on that one.
We either gonna have a very, very, very profitable night or one of the worst nights ever. But we will see what happens in less than 12 hours. 10 more hours. Till fight time. Fight time.
Yeah, not even 10. Exactly. Or 9 now because it starts at 8 tonight.
Oh damn. 9 more hours until fight time. So get your stuff in, get your popcorn ready, get those pockets filled with cash. We're making that money tonight. But my man Aaron, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me at Aaron Jay Brooks on the Twitter. You can find me on here usually on Thursdays, but we switched it up here. Hopefully, I'll have a few interviews here coming up as well. I got a few fighters in the gambit for that. So Aaron the Dog Talks will be coming back as well. But yeah, just keep your eye on Fight Bananas. I'll be here.
Absolutely. You guys know where to find me at Fight Analyst on Twitter and the Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. And guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my package today. I got a 5-unit max bet tonight. He's going to cash in probably within the first couple minutes of the fight. I'm very excited for that. We got big underdogs on the card as well. We're making a ton of money tonight. We're on a crazy hot streak over the last week, up over 10 units last week alone. We're looking to continue that tonight. So let's get that money. But with that said, we will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great night. Peace.